Gomer Pyle, USMC. Starring Jim Neighbors as Gomer Pyle. Also starring Frank Sutton as Sergeant Carter.
All right, you guys, listen up. Come on, come on. Daniels, you got the laundry room detail this week. Johnson, Shapiro, there's some filing for you to do over at the administration building. And Pyle.
Yes, Sergeant.
You're going to be busy for the next few days.
I am?
Yeah, you're going to be picking up some supplies down at the train station for the motor pool. And that's a 3-day job.
The motor pool? Well, lucky me.
Yeah, 3 days work for you and 3 days vacation for me.
Are you going on vacation, Sergeant?
Any day away from you, Pyle, I consider a vacation. All right, you guys, you got your assignments. Now, come on, get with it. Move, move. Pyle, that your footlocker?
Yes, Sergeant.
Footlockers will remain closed except during inspection. You got that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Wait a minute. What's this?
Well, that's my lucky troll doll.
Your what?
My troll doll.
What's it doing in your footlocker?
Well, I like to have it close by me for protection.
For protection? Pyle, you're a U.S. Marine. You've been through boot camp, judo. You can shoot an M1, and you need a troll doll for protection.
Well, my troll doll protects me against things where a rifle or judo don't do any good at all.
Yeah, like what?
Well, there are all sorts of things happening around us, Sergeant, all the time that we never even see.
Yeah, I know, Pyle. There are all sorts of things happening around you that you don't see, but the rest of us see them, believe me.
You don't understand what I mean, Sergeant Carter. This here good luck troll, well, it's like, you know, a good luck piece. Like some folks have a horseshoe or a rabbit's foot. Well, this here troll protects me from bad things happening.
Give me that.
Hmm?
You see? It don't protect you. I just took it away from you. Something bad just happened to you, and your troll didn't protect you.
Well, that's because he ain't my troll anymore. He's your troll now. It won't protect me, but it'll protect you.
When are you going to get it through that thick head of yours? No non-regulation items in the footlocker. A troll is non-regulation. Therefore, it does not belong in your footlocker.
Right, Sergeant, and I'm sorry.
Get rid of it, you hear me?
Right, Sergeant. Sergeant?
What lame brain left that mop down there? Don't tell me, let me guess.
Ain't that a shame, Sergeant? If you'd have held on to this troll for just a few more minutes, that never would have happened. Just 2 more minutes.
Knock it off, Pyle. Get over to the motor pool.
Right, Sergeant.
Give me that.
Oh, Jerry, listen, that worked out very nice. Now, fellas, come here. I want to talk to you a minute. Now, what I want to get is an establishing shot of the spacecraft just after it's landed. You see, I'm going to get a nice overhead shot from the hill up there looking down. Now, when I wave my arms at you, that means you come out of the spacecraft and you look around. You got it? Now, lay off the beeps. You're going to wear out the batteries. Okay, now, it's a very, very simple scene. All you have to do is come out of the spacecraft and you're very curious and you're looking around. It's the first time you've landed on Earth. You got it? Cut that out. All right, get back in the spacecraft now. Jerry, let's move everything up on the hill, right?
All right, fellas, let's get this stuff out of here. Let's move.
Shazam! Oh, mercy! Can't be, you just can't be.
A flying saucer. saucer? Did you hear that, Boyle? Pyle here says he saw a flying saucer.
Well, I didn't see it flying. It was just sitting there. I guess it had just landed.
Oh, uh-huh. And where did it land, Pyle? On a mushroom?
No, Sergeant, it landed way out in this big field.
Oh, I see. And what else did you see?
Well, while I was watching, the door opened, and these little bitty men got out. There was 3 of them, and they had glass bubbles on their head.
You saw little men, too. I don't suppose you talked to any of them.
No, Sergeant, I thought I'd better get back here and tell you about it. I'd heard about people seeing flying saucers, but I always thought they was just imagining things.
Yeah. Just tell me one thing. Did you get into town and pick up them packages for the motor pool like you were supposed to?
No, Sergeant, when I saw the flying saucer, I thought that I'd better get...
Just what I thought. Pyle, did you think I'd fall for a dumb story like this?
A story? Don't you believe me, Sergeant? Don't you believe what I just told you?
Oh, sure, I believe you. And I believe they're fairies at the bottom of your gun. Pyle, do you think I got these stripes without hearing every story in the book from guys who've goofed off, gold-bricked, and pooped out on jobs they were supposed to do? Now, you get back to that Jeep and pick up them packages for the motor pool.
But, Sergeant, what about the flying saucer? What about that?
Pyle!
Shouldn't you report it? Aren't you supposed to report things like that? I read...
Pyle, you've been given an assignment. Now, get out of here.
But, Sergeant...
Out! Flying saucers.
What do you think he saw, Vince? He must have seen something.
I'll tell you what I think he saw. I think he saw a chance for a good excuse after he flaked down under a tree for a little nap. That's what he saw.
Really? You think that's it, Vince?
Sure, that's it. And I gotta admit, it's not a bad story. I mean, if you gotta go for one, you might as well go for a big one. There's one thing about Pyle. He's got some imagination. You should have heard the stuff he was giving me about some troll doll.
Fellas, let's not take any more than 45 minutes for lunch, right? We've still got a lot of work to do, and don't wander off too far, right? Now, let's be back on time. See you here in 45 minutes. Right. How did you get that pickup on 11?
All right, that's 45 minutes for lunch. 45.
Have some fun.
Hey there. Y'all ain't from around here, are you? Are you really from... I mean, you really aren't from... Can I do something for you? Would you like me to take you to my leader or something? Can you say anything? Talk? Make signs? Me, Marine. Who you? Oh, my goodness. I can't understand the thing that you're saying. If you wait right here just a minute, though, I'll try to find somebody that can. Now, you wait right here for just a minute. Right here, and I'll be right back. Wait right there.
Say that again, Pyle. Say what you just said.
I said I talked to them, Sergeant. I asked them where they was from, and I told them who I was and everything.
You did, huh? And did they say anything back, Pyle?
Oh, yeah, they talked a lot.
What did they say?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Well, you said they talked a lot.
They did, but it was in a language I couldn't understand. But that's only natural, since they probably come from a long ways away. But they talked. They really talked.
Well, what did it sound like?
Well, I don't know. It didn't sound human at all. It was sort of mechanical.
Yeah? Like what?
Like this. Beep, 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 beep.
They said that, huh?
Oh, yeah, and when I left them, they was just chattering away. I told them I'd go and try to find somebody that could understand them.
What were they saying again?
Beep, 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 beep.
Slower, slower.
Beep, 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 beep.
I just can't make it out. Can you, Boyle? Can you make it out?
You do believe me, don't you, Sergeant? On account of, I not only saw him, I heard him. You do believe me, don't you? I saw him. I really saw him. I'm not just making this up. I saw him with my very own eyes. You do believe me, don't you?
Well, to be honest with you, Pyle, I didn't believe you at first. But now I think there's something kind of strange going on.
Oh, good. On account I hadn't picked up that equipment yet.
Oh, well, that's okay. Take your time. You can pick it up on your next trip.
Right.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'm a little worried.
You don't think it's an excuse anymore?
No, I don't. Once okay, but not twice. You want to know something, Boyle? I'm worried. I think Pyle is seeing things.
You mean hallucinations?
What's that?
Seeing things.
I just said that.
That's the medical term for it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a medical term for Pyle, too, and I think I better find out what it is. You know what it sounds like to me, Doctor? It sounds to me like Pyle has got hallucinations.
Pardon me?
Seeing things. The medical term for it.
Oh, yes, I get what you mean.
What does it sound like to you, sir?
Well, of course, you realize this is just conversation. I haven't seen Pyle or examined him. I'm just going on what you've reported to me.
Oh, sure. I understand.
Well, first, there's the possibility that he did see something.
You mean a flying saucer?
Well, something, whatever it was.
What's the other possibility?
It's a little more complicated. If he didn't see anything and he's making it all up, it could be he's just trying to get attention. Individual attention from you.
Yeah, but what good is it? He'll just get chewed out for making up a story. He knows
Sergeant, he hasn't thought that far ahead. And besides, chewing out is a form of attention. Better to be yelled at than neglected.
Huh?
In a manner of speaking, you're almost like a father to him. Isn't that what you told him back in boot camp?
Yeah, but that was back in boot camp. He was just a recruit.
And he grew to depend on it.
Oh. Well, what do I do?
Listen to him. Talk to him. Be sympathetic.
Yes, sir?
Try to give him a little more of your time. If he feels you're concerned with him, he may not have to see any more of these things.
Well, what if he does, sir?
Well, then call me.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for all your help. Sir?
Yes?
Just in case I have to write up a report on this, how do you spell hallucinations?
Shot of you two guys running down the road here. Well, Jerry, where'd this Jeep come from?
The key's in it.
Well, find out who it belongs to and get it out of here. Drive it out of there yourself.
I don't know how you handle one of these things.
I know how to drive them. I'll take it out of there.
Oh, good. Okay, Jerry, I want to go back up the hill and get a setup up there.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. They took my Jeep.
Listen to this, Vince. Just listen. Worcester Falls, Kansas. Several farmers here last night reported seeing strange objects in the sky. The most detailed description was given by Cyrus Plunkett, who said something shaped like a banana squash with red lights the size of tomatoes circled his barn for almost half an hour, scaring the chickens half to death. What do you think of that?
I think Cyrus Plunkett and Gomer Pyle are two of a kind.
You mean you don't believe these fellows saw them either? Sarge, there's a story like this in the papers almost every day.
Boyle, will you pardon me? Until one of them things actually lands and they show it on television, I'm going to have my reservations. Do you mind?
But Sarge, there's just too many of these sightings. They can't all be just people's imaginations.
Then look, Boyle, it stands to reason. If them people went to all that trouble to come from millions of miles away, why didn't they at least stop and say hello?
But Pyle said they did.
And that's another thing. If they're smart enough to do all that, why do they want to stop and talk to Pyle of all people on this earth? Huh? Answer me that, huh?
Look, Sarge, don't get me in the middle. I don't know if Pyle saw one or he talked to one. I'm just saying that there are reportings like this in the paper every day.
Sergeant Carter, I'm all out of breath. I run all the way.
Yeah, what is it now, Pyle?
The Jeep, they took the Jeep. One of them took the Jeep and drove right away with it.
They did? Who did, Pyle? Who took the Jeep?
One of them little men. I got out to see if I could find them again. And when I turned around, one of them was driving the Jeep away.
You actually saw one of these little men get in a Jeep and drive away?
I saw him, Sergeant. I saw him with my very own eyes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that's very interesting, Pyle. Look, why don't you wait outside a minute? I gotta make a phone call.
But, Sergeant Carter, that was government property. Where was he going with it?
I don't know, Pyle. Just wait outside a minute.
I think we ought to go right back out there and comb the entire area.
Oh, yeah, sure. Good idea. Just as soon as I make this phone call, I'll be right with you.
I feel just awful about this, Sergeant. But how was I to know that one of them little men could drive a Jeep?
Well, maybe they have Jeeps up there, too, huh?
Do you really think so, Sergeant?
Look, Pyle, will you just wait outside?
All right, Sergeant.
What do you think now? Even Cyrus Plunkett never saw one of them get in a Jeep and drive away.
I guess you're right, Vince.
I know I'm right. This kid's in bad shape.
Yes, Sergeant. He what? They did. Well, it seems to me there's only one thing for you to do at this point. Why don't you go out there with him?
Well, all right, if you say so, sir. Well, what do you think really happened to the Jeep?
I don't know. He might have forgotten where he parked it. Or possibly he deliberately hid it. The whole point is to get you out there with him, it seems to me. So go, Sergeant.
Yes, sir. I'll call you when we get back.
Well, what'd he say, Vince?
He said I should go out there in the woods with Pyle and look around.
What I've been saying all along, see?
Looks like Pyle's in for a few sessions with the doc.
No kidding.
Hallucinations.
What?
Seeing things, don't you know? Okay, Pyle. Come on, let's go. You drive. Take us out where you left the Jeep. I mean, where those little men stole the Jeep.
Sergeant, before we go, could I ask you something?
What, Pyle?
Well, I get the feeling that you don't believe me. Am I right, Sergeant?
What do you mean, Pyle?
Well, from the sound of your voice, you sound like you don't believe me about the Jeep. And that means you don't believe me about the flying saucers or the little men either.
Well, it is kind of strange. The whole story. Don't you agree?
But do you believe me, Sergeant?
Oh, well,
Well, I sure hope so, 'cause I never have lied to you, Sergeant. I never have lied to you as long as I've known you, since I've been a Marine. And I never will either.
Come on, Pyle, let's get started.
And cut. Okay, that was fine, people. Okay for everybody here? All right, then, that'll do it.
All right, that's a wrap. We're all through here, folks. Let's start getting the stuff in the truck. What about the Jeep?
Oh, I forgot about that. Have somebody drive it up on the road where we found it.
Right. Driver, you gotta drive on that Jeep.
There it is, Sergeant. I just don't understand it. It's right where I left it.
Yeah, there it is, all right.
Well, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. It wasn't here the last time I was here. I mean, I parked it here, and then it was gone. I mean, it was here, and then it wasn't here.
Yeah, Pyle.
I went right down here behind those bushes to have a look, and when I turned around, one of those little men was driving it off. Hey, maybe they're still down there.
Are you sure you were wearing your watch while we were having lunch?
Yeah.
There they are. There they are. Sergeant Carter, they're here. Hey, fellas, would you wait here just 1 minute? It's real important. I mean, no go. You stay. I come back. Sergeant Carter. Sergeant Carter. Come quick. They're right over in there, and I told them to wait, so come on, hurry.
Look, Pyle.
Please, Sergeant, they may go away again, so please, come on, hurry.
I don't know, maybe I didn't have it when we were having lunch.
Hey, Russ, maybe you dropped it getting off the truck.
Hey, maybe I did. Come on, let's go look.
Right up here, Sergeant. They're right up here. Hey, fellas. Fellers? Boys? Little man? They were right here, Sergeant, right here on this spot. I saw him, I really did.
Pyle. Listen, Pyle, I want to talk to you.
About what, Sergeant?
Do you feel I've been neglecting you lately? I mean, not paying enough attention to you?
Well, no, Sergeant.
I know I don't see you as much as I did in boot camp, but I want you to know that I think about you a lot.
Well, I think about you a lot, too, Sergeant.
Well, that's good. Anyway, I want you to know that whatever happens to you from now on and wherever you may go, my thoughts will go with you.
Go? But I'm not going anywheres.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, Pyle. In any case, I want you to know that if I've ignored you, I'm sorry. Now, why don't you just drive back to the base? I'll take the other Jeep.
But aren't we going to go look for those little men anymore, Sergeant?
No, I know where the little men are, Pyle.
You do? Where?
Well, you get the Jeep back to the barracks and wait for me, and then we'll go over and see someone who knows all about the little man.
Who's that, Sergeant?
Well, we'll just pay a visit to sick bay, and then you can have a talk.
Sick bay? You said you believe me, Sergeant, and you don't. You think everything I've told you's a story, don't you?
Please, Pyle. I believe that you think you saw someone. That's why we got to go over to sick bay, and you got to talk to the doc.
You don't believe me. You really don't believe me.
Well, that's what the doctors are there for. I mean, when a guy starts seeing things...
You don't believe that I saw those little men just now or any time?
Well, that's not important, whether I believe you or not.
I just want you to know one thing, Sergeant. I didn't lie to you, and I never will.
Pyle?
To see a watch, did you? I think I lost it someplace around here.
Hey, Russ! I found it! Here it is!
Great! Where'd you find it?
Well, how about it? We can't wait any longer. What is it with you people anyway? Two of you looking for a watch? One of you sacked out asleep someplace? Come on, get in the bus.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, you guys been here all day? You making a movie?
Yeah, that's right.
A movie about space and flying saucers and everything?
That's right. Hey, look, buddy, I gotta go.
Listen, am I glad to see you?
Yeah?
Yeah! He saw him. He really did see him. That's it. So what you saw, Pyle, was just some guys making a movie, that's all.
For gosh sake, Sergeant, that sure relieves my mind. A movie, think of that.
Well, if you had any brains, Pyle, you'd have known immediately that's what it was. I mean, things like that always have a logical explanation.
You knew right away, huh, Sergeant?
Of course, the minute I laid eyes on it.
Boy, it sure looked like the real thing to me. But the main thing is that you know that I wasn't lying to you. That's all I care about.
Yeah, but you did the right thing coming to me right off and telling me about it. You should never be afraid to come to me and tell me about anything that bothers you. If you can't figure it out, I'll help you with it. Will you remember that?
I sure am glad to hear you say that, Sergeant, because there is something I was afraid to tell you.
Yeah, what is it?
Well, you won't be angry with me, will you?
Of course not. You heard what I just said.
And you will believe me, won't you, Sergeant?
I'll believe you. What is it?
Well, Last night, right before I went to sleep, there was the funniest noise coming from underneath the barracks. And since you took my troll doll, I hate to think what it is. Do you think that underneath the barracks we might...
Knock it off, Pyle. Get back to work and finish some windows. Move it, move it. All the dumb, lame-brained ideas.